It looks like you're asking for the top 6 ultra-state $quarter Washington coins from the years 1943, 1969, 1995, 1974, 1985, and 1967. However, it's important to clarify that ultra-state generally refers to the coin's condition, such as being in high grades like MS-65, MS-67, etc. In the context of Washington quarters, the highest graded coins, especially those from certain years, can be quite valuable, but rarity, demand, and condition will all influence their value. Here's an overview of the Washington quarters you mentioned. 1. 1943 Washington Quarter. This year marks a wartime era with higher mintage numbers. While not rare, a high grade, like MS-67, could be valuable. Coins in excellent condition with minimal wear may be sought after by collectors. 2. 1967 Washington Quarter. This coin comes from the era. The 1995 P Washington Quarter is not typically considered rare in comparison to many other coins, but it does have some notable features that may appeal to collectors, especially when found in high-grade condition or as part of unique sets. The Washington Quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. In 1995, the U.S. Mint continued producing the standard design of Washington, created by John Flanagan. The P mint mark signifies that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In terms of rarity, the 1995 P quarter is fairly common in circulation. The Mint produced over 1.5 billion of these coins, making them widely available. However, some variations of the coin could attract attention in the collector market, particularly if they feature errors or are in pristine, uncirculated condition. A 1995 P quarter with a high grade, such as MS-67 or MS-68, can be more valuable than one in average circulation condition. Coins with unique characteristics or minor errors, such as double strikes or unusual die variations, can also increase in value. As of 2024, the 1995 P Washington Quarter in average condition, around fine or very fine, is generally worth face value, or slightly more, typically around $1 to $2 if in uncirculated form. However, high-grade examples or those with specific error types may command higher prices. For example, coins in MS-65 or better could be worth anywhere from $5 to $15, and those with an error or unique die characteristics might see values in the range of $50 to $100 or more, depending on demand and rarity. While not exceptionally rare, the 1995 P Washington Quarter can still hold appeal to collectors, particularly those seeking to complete their collections or acquire high-quality, error-struck examples. The 1967 Washington Quarter is part of a series minted from 1932 to the present, featuring George Washington on the obverse. While it is not considered particularly rare in terms of mintage, certain factors can make a 1967 quarter more valuable than others. The 1967 quarter was minted in large numbers, with over 1.7 billion coins produced across 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Therefore, a typical 1967 quarter in average circulated condition holds little to no premium over its face value of 25 cents. However, specific conditions and types of 1967 quarters can increase their worth. For example, a 1967 quarter in uncirculated or gem-quality condition can fetch a higher price, especially if it has been well preserved or maintained in a mint state. A coin graded at a high level, such as MS-65 or higher, could be worth several dollars to collectors. Another aspect that can affect the value is the presence of errors, such as double strikes or off-center impressions. Though rare, these errors can significantly increase the coin's value due to their uniqueness. Collectors also value coins with specific characteristics, such as those that have been part of specific hoards, or those with unusual toning or minting marks. In conclusion, while the 1967 Washington Quarter isn't a rare coin by itself, it can become valuable under certain conditions. Uncirculated examples and those with errors or unique features may be worth more than their face value, potentially ranging from a few dollars to much more, depending on condition and rarity. The 1985 Washington quarter minted at the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P mint mark, is generally considered a common coin in circulating condition. However, specific characteristics of certain 1985 quarters can make them more valuable to collectors. Here's a breakdown of the coin's history and value. History. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design, featuring a left-facing profile of Washington, was created by artist John Flanagan. The 1985 issue, part of the long-running series, followed the standard design without any special commemorative features. It was minted in large quantities for circulation and includes a mix of clad copper-nickel composition, for regular circulation, and silver, in proof versions. Rarity and value. While the 1985 P Washington quarter is not particularly rare in standard circulated condition, its value can vary depending on its grade, mint mark, and condition. The quarter is common with over 500 million coins struck, meaning they are relatively easy to find in circulation today. In lower grades, such as good or very fine, the value is typically close to face value, around 25 cents. However, collectors place a premium on higher-grade specimens. For example, uncirculated, MS-63 or higher, these coins in mint condition can be worth between $3 and $5. Proof coins, special proof versions of the 1985 quarter were also minted, and these coins can fetch a higher price, ranging from $6 to $15, depending on their condition. Error. The 1974 Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, denoted by the P mint mark, is often considered a relatively common coin in the context of modern U.S. currency. However, there are some variations in specific conditions that can make certain examples rarer and more valuable to collectors. Key facts about the 1974 Washington quarter, P mint. 1. Standard production. The 1974 Washington quarter was produced in large numbers, with over 410 million minted in Philadelphia. As such, most 1974 quarters are not particularly rare and have a face value of 25 cents. 2. Value in circulation. In average circulated condition, good or VG, these quarters are worth face value. Coins in uncirculated, MS, grades might fetch slightly more, with values ranging between $1 and $2, depending on their condition. 3. Errors and variations ***. Rare versions of the 1974 quarter come in the form of minting errors. For example, the 1974 double die variety is sought after by collectors. Though it is not as famous as the 1955 or 1972 double die varieties, the 1974 double die, where elements of the coin's design are noticeably doubled due to a minting error, can be worth much more, often upwards of $100 or more, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition. 4. Silver-clad 1974 quarters. While most 1974 quarters are clad in a copper-nickel alloy, collectors should be aware that some earlier quarters, prior to 1965, were made of 90% silver. The 1974 quarter, however, was not one of them. Therefore, it's important not to confuse the value of silver quarters from earlier years with the 1974 copper-nickel clad version. 5. Grading and market trends. For any coin, the higher its grade, from good to mint state and beyond, the more valuable it is. A 1974 quarter in MS-67 or higher can be worth much more than one in lower grades, with some extreme examples selling for several $100s, especially if they have rare error features. The 1969 Washington quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's regular coinage production, but certain rare versions of this coin can command significant value among collectors. While most 1969 quarters are worth only face value, 25 cents, there are specific circumstances and variants that make some of them much rarer and more valuable. Rare 1969 Washington quarters. The most valuable 1969 Washington quarters are often tied to unique errors or minting anomalies. For example, some 1969 quarters were struck with unusual die breaks or have doubling, a form of minting error where the design appears twice. These types of errors are often called double die quarters and can be worth a substantial premium depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. Another rarity involves coins that were struck in the wrong metal. A small number of 1,969 quarters may have been minted with copper-nickel clad instead of silver, though these instances are extremely rare and valuable to advanced numismatists. Mint marks and varieties. In terms of mint marks, the 1969 Washington quarter was produced at two main U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark. While the D mint-marked quarters are more common, both types can be subject to additional scrutiny for errors, such as off-center strikes or misalignments, which can enhance their value. Value of the 1969 Washington quarter. The value of a 1969 Washington quarter largely depends on its condition and any unique attributes or errors it might have. Most uncirculated 1969 quarters are worth only a few dollars above face value. However, a well-preserved 1969 quarter with an error could be worth anywhere from $10 to several $100s or more. The highest prices are typically paid for coins in pristine condition, such as those graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. In conclusion, while the 1969 Washington quarter is not intrinsically rare, its value can significantly increase if it exhibits certain characteristics, such as errors, unique strikes, or high-grade preservation. As always, collectors should carefully assess and authenticate rare finds to determine their full value. The 1943 Washington quarter is often considered a relatively rare and historically significant coin due to a combination of factors that include wartime production and the unique circumstances surrounding its mintage. While most quarters from the 1940s are fairly common in circulation, the 1943 Washington quarter stands out for its historical context and its limited mintage, particularly given the broader context of World War II. Historical context and mintage. The Washington quarter series began in 1932, replacing the Barber quarter. By 1943, the United States was deep into World War II, which significantly impacted the production of various coin types. The mintages of many coins during this period were limited as precious metals were diverted for wartime use, and the government focused on producing necessary wartime materials like bullets, tanks, and other equipment. Consequently, many coins, including quarters, were produced in fewer numbers than in other years. For the 1943 Washington quarter, the U.S. Mint struck the coin in the usual composition of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, this was a time of material shortages, and although most quarters were made in Philadelphia, there were a few notable exceptions. The San Francisco Mint produced a limited number of proof quarters in 1943, which are especially rare today. Key features of the 1943 Washington quarter. 1. Design. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse showcases an eagle perched on a branch, surrounded by the words, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and $quarter. This design remained largely unchanged throughout the Washington quarter series. 2. Mintage. The total mintage for the